So the Slate is a tribute to my great-grandfather, and also it's the remembrance of how Phuket used to be one of the top 3 exporters of tin in the world, alongside Malaysia and Indonesia.
Hello, my name is Renae Leith-Manos. Welcome to this podcast, Where to From Here, featuring conversations about luxury travel and how it's changing in every pocket of the globe. I'm here today going to Phuket to talk to Krystal because I recently stayed in her family's beautiful hotel called the Slate. It was designed by Bill Bensley, the amazing Southeast Asian landscape architect who is super famous and super loved in that part of the world. And what was amazing is that when I reviewed this hotel and I put it on my social media and my website, I was bombarded with so many Australians who'd been to the property and absolutely loved it. And to top it off, I was recently in Singapore going down an elevator in the Como Hotel, talking to this amazing woman about Zara and shopping in Singapore. And it turns out it was Krystal, and we had organized to have this podcast ages ago and didn't even realize that this was who each other was. So what a small world we live in. I'm so excited to have you. Welcome to the show, Krystal.
Thank you, Renee. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, your family is credited with putting Phuket on the tourist map. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, it was my father, just before tin was completely exhausted. He had explored the opportunity to put this island on the map for tourism because he saw the beauty of it. And at the time, Phuket was not known. So he went to actually persuade the producer of the James Bond series, Albert Broccoli, to film The Man with the Golden Gun here in Phuket and Phang Nga.
Wow.
That was to the start, of him putting this place on the world's map.
So that actually happened. Excuse my ignorance. I'm not a Bond, aficionado. That actually happened. That the Bond movie was filmed there.
Yes, it was filmed in Phuket and Phang Nga. So that really puts Phuket and Thailand, on the world's map. Then in the 80s, 1983, if I remember correctly, he was instrumental in lobbying Thai Airways to establish the first international flight for Phuket. And it was the direct link between Phuket and Singapore.
Right.
Oh, yes.
And how many hotels were there in Phuket? Did they come very quickly, or how was the evolution of the hotel industry on Phuket?
It started very slowly. It was my father again who put the first luxury hotel in Phuket City at the time, with the helipad and, with many rooms. We welcomed a lot of celebrities, members of royalty, and many interesting things. But it was very slow in the beginning. Not many people developed hotels at the time.
I mean, he was obviously revolutionary. And many revolutionaries are criticized very heavily at the time because people around them don't necessarily have the same vision or understand the potential. What was it like for your dad, do you think?
I think, I grew up when he was building the first hotel, and it came to Phuket as something very innovative, very new. And I think the response was rather positive than negative, because that created a lot of jobs and it gave something new to the island. And I think people embraced it with a positive attitude.
Well, my perception, having lived in Southeast Asia, is that whenever I come to Thailand, the people generally seem ambitious, hardworking, and they're looking for opportunities. And you can't say that about every country in Southeast Asia.
Right, especially Phuket, the majority of the people who live here, they are Chinese descendants.
Right.
So the Chinese, they are hard workers.
Yes.
And you can see from these Chino-Portuguese houses, those shop houses where people do business on the ground floor and they live on the upper floor. Yes. So they live with their work.
Yes. Yeah, it's a very clever concept. And even to this day, Chinese people still have a reputation of working hard
Yes.
everywhere in the world. So tell me about the concept of the slate, because it's based on your family's history of being tin miners.
Right. Actually, the Slate, we want to pay tribute to my great-grandfather who arrived in Phuket in 1912. He worked in a tin mine.
And sorry, where did he come from? You said he arrived.
He is from China. Sorry, he's from Fujian in China.
Wow.
It took him about 1.5 months on the boat to come to Southeast Asia to, at the time, young men, they were looking for fortune here. And he ended up working in a mine in Phuket. It was owing to him that our family started in the mining business. So the slate is a tribute to my great-grandfather, and also it's the remembrance of how Phuket used to be one of the top 3 exporters of tin in the world, alongside Malaysia and Indonesia. So this small island was very important in the tin business. It was the main economic driver of the island. So the slate is a story about this beautiful history.
And I think it's just executed so beautifully through Bill Bensley's architecture. I mean, he's just a genius when it comes to sustainability, when it comes to beautiful, hotels. But how did he or he and you take the concept and decide to make it into a hotel? Because it's an unusual concept, right?
Yeah, it's I think it started with a conversation at first. We got to know each other and we were talking about the family history and all. And then with our reports and, positive exchange that we had with each other, it transformed into a beautiful storytelling through an amazing design and a great sense of humor.
He does, doesn't he?
Him, yes. So fun. Everywhere you look, there's a story to tell, and it's really amazing.
It's wonderful. How many years ago was that?
How many years?
Yeah.
About 15 years already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And how long did it take to build the hotel? Because it's very large. I can't recall how many. It's huge.
Right. Actually, it was a transformation of an existing hotel, part
That's
of it.
right.
And then the other half was a new build. So it took us about 9 months to do everything with great planning. And then there you go.
And tell us about Black Ginger, because I think Black Ginger is the most unique, fabulous, just theatrical restaurant I've been to in Southeast Asia. My Instagram went crazy when I filmed it, because it's basically surrounded by a moat, and you go on, I guess it's called a pont, across the water with someone sort of pushing it with these flames alight in the water. I mean, it's like something out of a James Bond movie.
Right. Well, first of all, Bill Bensley, like we said, has a great sense of humor. And actually, he's from Anaheim, where Disneyland is, right?
Yes, he is.
So I think somehow he knows how to entertain our guests. And he is a very well-known landscape architect.
Yes.
When I met him, he was more known for his landscape design than other things.
He still calls himself that. He's designed so many different buildings now, and you ask him what he does for a living, he says, I'm a landscape architect. I mean, he's so much more than that, but I think that reflects what you're saying, that's his passion.
It's his passion, yeah. So he built Black Ginger with the idea of enveloping it with nature, with lush tropical nature. And then also Black Ginger is a reflect of Thai cuisine, the Phuket cuisine, what Phuket has to offer. So again, those dishes come from the tin miners who brought this beautiful cuisine knowledge to the island.
Right.
So it's a very magical place.
It really is. And I mean, it's booked months and months in advance. It's never too busy because guests need to sort of enjoy and really feel special and feel they've got the space. It was one of my great experiences having dinner at Black Ginger. I just loved it. And I'd read about it, and you think, oh, how good can it be? And it just exceeded all of my expectations. It was just wonderful. And the other part of the hotel, I mean, many parts of the hotel I really loved, but the nest, you have to tell us about the nest.
Well, the nest actually was built around the existing banyan tree, which was at the time 100 years old already. Today is probably 120. So when we started the project, Bill looked at everything, and he said, I will not touch any trees. So we will build around the existing trees. So the nest was built in this 100-year-old banyan tree. So
Wow.
when you go up there, the feeling of being floated around the nature, it's completely insane.
It is, because it's a cocoon. It's like a sort of, it looks like a nest, doesn't it? It's sort of, is it bamboo or whatever it's made from, with
It's
stairs going up? And this is
right.
where you have a massage. And when they invited me, I thought this feels a bit strange. It was incredible. Again, it's his humor, right?
Yes, yeah. Again, like you said, sometimes you feel like Disneyland and, this great sense of humor, like people, they can't stop taking photos, and
Yes.
this design sort of puts the smile on everybody's face.
No, it really does. And I think the other thing about the Slate is that it's so big and there's so many food and beverage outlets, you don't need to go anywhere. So if there's a family of four, I mean, there's a sports bar that has a happy hour. There's a fabulous restaurant that's open most days. There's so much to it. There's even brilliant room service. I got that a few times. And the rooms are large, which, coming from Sydney is an absolute luxury, and coming from places like Paris and London, where we all live in small environments, coming to the Slate, where there are big rooms, but this huge expanse of lawn. There's a beach out the front if you want to go out to the beach. There's multiple swimming pools. I mean, it really is just a true family escape, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I think, of course, again, Bill's a beautiful landscape architect. So when he designed his place, he thought of space, volume, the nature. So you really feel good vibes when you come here. It's positive, it's open, and you're surrounded by nature. Sitting here, I just feel like, it's indoor, outdoor living. So everything blends together.
Absolutely. And the staff are beautiful. And some of them have been there so long, since the first hotel, right? Just
Right.
amazing.
Yes. So we inherited many things that existed before, but Bill just transformed it into something spectacular.
Yeah, no, you have to see it to believe it, to really understand it. But yes, your next project you're about to say, you are launching an amazing new restaurant concept, I believe.
Right. Actually, the new restaurant will be situated in a small alley called Soi Romance in Phuket, the old town. So Soi Romance used to be the red light district of Phuket during the tin mining period. So during those days, the Chinese miners would frequent these famous brothels for arak, gambling, opium smoking, and it was very, very colorful. And so we would like to celebrate this past of Phuket, the former colorful glory of Phuket.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
far away is that from Phuket town, from the hotel, from the Slate?
It's about 40 minutes by car.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you
If,
targeting your hotel guests to go there or not really?
I think so, yes, because there's a connection between
Yes.
storytelling,
Yes.
right? We still pay tribute to the tin mining history of Phuket. And
Yes.
this part of the island happened to be the red light district. So it makes sense to connect.
Absolutely. And I believe Bill Bensley is designing that as well.
Yes, I was fortunate enough to convince him to do this small project because, it's probably the smallest project for him. But I mean, we get along well, and he likes the history
Yes.
Of Phuket. So he said, yeah, okay, I'll help you with this.
Yeah, wonderful. So how big is it? You said it's quite small. How many seats is it?
It's about 50 seats,
Yeah.
and we have 2 bedrooms, but the bedrooms will serve as the opium dining experience. It's not for you to spend a night. I mean, you could, but it's primarily designed for dining experience. And we also have a multifunction space in the back.
And so what is the dining experience, Krystal? What sort of food will it be? And
The food, actually, we got inspiration from how tin miners, they cooked in the past. They
yeah.
used charcoal to give the rich flavor and smokiness to the dishes. And also I like open flame sort of cooking, because this is very old, like it's the techniques that our ancestors used in the past. So it creates a deep connection between us and the beautiful past. So the cuisine will be built around charcoal and smoked food.
Sounds wonderful. And more of an Asian or a Western bent, the food?
It will be more of a local produce from the island.
Yeah.
It will be like catch of the day or ingredients that we can find locally, and then we will cook and this charcoal.
And of course, local ingredients are a huge nod to sustainability and ecotourism, which are the big buzzwords of our time in luxury hotels, right?
That's right. Yeah, we will try not to import any ingredients.
Yes. Well, you've got so many beautiful ingredients in Thailand. You don't need to.
Right, and being next to the sea, you have beautiful seafood here, and
Yes.
we have connections with some fishermen who can give us like beautiful catch of the day, and I think that the concept will be around that.
Yeah. And you haven't told me how you initially met Bill Bensley. How on earth did you meet this charismatic American?
It was many years ago during SARS, if you remember.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I was not allowed to come to Phuket, so I had to take my kids to a holiday destination near Bangkok, only road trip. So we drove to this hotel near Bangkok.
Is this in Hua Hin? Where were you?
It was in Hua Hin, yes.
Hua Hin, yeah.
It was Anantara today, but at the time I think it was something called Green Garden, something like that.
It's a beautiful area, Hua Hin, because of course it was very where all the royalty used to holiday back in the day. So it's very clean and very sort of upscale as a vibe.
Right. And then, during that trip, I came across Bill Bensley's work. So I saw how talented he is in impart a sense of volume to spaces.
Yeah, spaces, he's amazing, isn't he? Especially big ones. He's really good.
And I felt like so inspired by his work. So I put in my mind, like, okay, one day, if we have a project, I'll think of this. And also, we have a big piece of land. We have 25 acres where the Slate sits on today. So then, I thought Bill would be the perfect answer to the new project.
And when you contacted him, was he very open to it? Was it difficult to convince him to work with you?
I think we got along from the first meeting.
Excellent.
I went to his office and I told him, the story about my family, the hotel, etc. So without saying much, I understood that he accepted the project.
Wow.
Yeah. So
and the rest is history.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was a good meeting we had, and also I had a new friend then. Because and we have been friends for so many years already.
That's beautiful. And I mean, he loves Thailand. He lives in Bangkok. That's where his base is. Not that he's there very often because he travels so much.
Right, exactly. He has a beautiful home in Bangkok.
There's beautiful dogs and beautiful design and
yeah. It's like going out of Thailand when you go to his house in Bangkok. It's really amazing. It's called Ban Botanica.
Yeah, right.
And the name says it, like it's so lush and tropical. It's insane.
Beautiful. And tell me, can you let us in? Do you think there will ever be a second Slate hotel somewhere in Thailand or Southeast Asia, Krystal?
Nothing is in the pipeline, but everything is possible.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And you've been working in this luxury hotel industry for so long. I mean, I met you at another luxury hotel recently, as I said, in Singapore. How has the luxury industry changed, and how has the demands of clientele changed since you sort of have been in the industry so long?
Luxury actually is a terminology that I would say it should be defined by each individual.
Yes.
Because as for me, I don't think of luxury as having a marble floor with furniture, It's the small elements that together they contribute to, I would say, life-changing experience. So that's how I view luxury. After the pandemic, I see that people give priorities to different elements, concerned about their health and they like to travel more in a group, like multi-generational travels, group of friends going together, and they appreciate more of the cultural side of things. You know,
Than they did before.
different goals, and I think luxury has shifted in many different directions, and that's why also Phuket Old Town, which was not so much appreciated before, today you can see only tourists taking photos, enjoying, you know, talking to the locals and walking around. So it is a beautiful landscape. It's very interesting to see these changes.
Sounds beautiful. And what about you personally? Where do you like to travel, and do you like to travel in luxury?
For me, I like to go to Europe. For example, Paris is a city that always inspires me. I have a lot of friends.
Me too.
And it has this opulence, the elegance, and the sense of connoisseurship. So when I go to Europe, Paris is always my first or last stop.
Me too.
The same. Yeah.
Where do you like to stay in Paris? Do you have a favorite hotel?
I usually stay with my friends.
Lovely.
Also, my friends, they have beautiful hotels, so I would just go to their house or their hotels. It depends.
How beautiful. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, I write and review a lot of hotels in Paris, so I'm there a lot. And I agree. I find it very, very inspiring.
It is very inspiring. And also, you know, Madrid is also beautiful for its gastronomic. It's incredible. Almost every restaurant you walk into, you're guaranteed to have good food.
100%. 100%. So we ask all our guests before you go, where to from here for you? And it might be what you're doing today, what you're doing, what your next holiday is, but where are you going next? What's happening for you now?
I'm picturing myself next month. I'm going to be sitting at the bar at Cooley's Club, having a Tin Miner's Whisper, which is a signature Negroni of the house.
And Negronis,
yes.
Negronis are the most popular drink in Southeast Asia at the moment, aren't they? They're just everywhere. Like everyone loves them there.
I love it because it's sweet and it has this soothing, you know, scent. But our one will be smoked. So it's going to be a smoked Negroni.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
So that's funny.
Well, I need to come as soon as possible. When's Cooley's opening?
Next month.
Oh, how exciting. Before Christmas.
Yes, hopefully.
Yes. Yes.
So we're planning for it.
Wonderful. Best of luck with it. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. I love your hotel, the Slate, and good luck with Cooley's. I look forward to seeing it soon, and I might run into you in another elevator somewhere in Southeast Asia sometime soon, Krystal.
I hope so. So hope to see you in Phuket soon.
Thank you. I will see you soon. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye now. Don't forget to subscribe here and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for regular travel updates. You can also hear our episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.